Friends and family, good night once again to another edition of Just Reasoning Live, the show where we talk about real issues, real things, just give real talk here, and we're here to amplify your voice. Joining me tonight, I have a couple of our regulars, and we have a special guest. We have Mr. Tex, we have Special, and we have Dr. T. How are we going to reference you tonight?
Tamika is fine.
Tamika is fine? Nah. I have to give it a bigger title than that. So we have Dr. Tamika, who is a chiropractor here in the Houston area. Jamaican, Manchester, from what I understand. So we're here to talk about a bunch of different issues. And you know, how we do it here, we just free-form conversation about things from serious issues to, not so serious issues. We just want to amplify the voice of our community. So, everyone ready?
Yes.
How's your week?
Ready.
Everybody having a good week so far? Ready to do some serious reasoning?
Yeah,
All right. So we'll start off tonight by we had recently a loss within the reggae community. Legendary singer Toots. Toots is what everybody know him by. I just when he died, I found out what his full name was. Frederick Nathaniel Toots Hibbert of Toots and the Maytals, legendary singer, passed away as Friday night, September 11th, after a brief illness, and apparently it was COVID related. I don't think I haven't heard an official cause of death, but he was in the hospital for a little bit, and and he was tested for COVID. I don't know the result of that, but it's complications from that. It's one of those legends. You just certain people just kind of think they're going to be around forever. As long as I can remember, I'm hearing about Toots and the Maytals. Big tunes like Sweet and Dandy and 5446 was my number, Funky Kingston, and something that I only learned since he passed was he was the first person to use the word reggae in a song. He had a song in 1968 called, I know the song, Do the Reggae, Do the Reggae. Yeah. And, I don't know if I would say he invented the word. I don't think anybody is settled on who invented the word, but, he was the first person to use it in a recorded song. So, big loss for, reggae music. Toots Hibbert, R.I.P. to Toots and his family. Anybody with thoughts on Toots? I love the music personally. It's just, to me, it's a timeless music. You can listen to, you kids are probably too young to know about Toots. So as the elder statesman here,
with your old self.
Yeah. Why is that special?
Well,
you just hear about him, no?
No, but whenever you have the loss of a great legend, I consider that another chapter in our culture. It's been completed. I heard some of his songs growing up because that's the only kind of thing I could listen to. Listen to Ninja Man, right?
You couldn't King Yellow Man.
But Scare is one of the first time I've ever seen my grandmother dance. So when you hear the older folks can talk about an artist that they can dance to, it's something to be proud of, right? Because everything will come after that, you can't play in a church. But I say,
yeah, but classic stuff.
It's good to at least, load up him thing. Because all people don't really know about him, and I am happy to see how the media in Jamaica have been making it very public, and I've been playing a lot of his songs. So even if you've been you are just here within the last 20 years, right? You will still like the music because it still says something to us, still talks to us, still speaks about where we come from.
Yeah.
And some of the music these days, they don't really tell you that, So that is just my take on that. I like that what they're doing because of that.
Yeah, and like a couple like 5446 was my number. Sing it up, mister. Hear what I say? And like people know like the remix of that. It's not really a remix of it.
They've sampled it many times.
Yeah, they've sampled it. Yeah, so people probably just hear it and say, "Oh, that's who will do that song." And and kind of transition to the next topic. What I find out is like when certain artists dead, right? That's when oh man, let me go and listen to all of their music, even though it's artists that you know and have liked. But we kind of just tend to move on to new things and don't really pay enough attention to, the legends and give them their flowers while they are here, right? So it's something that we have to be more conscious of, and which kind of goes to the next topic in talking about the verses, which I think is which we've talked about on here before, from the standpoint of being a man and Bound to Killer, and how they had the biggest ratings on that platform, and haven't gotten the respect for doing that and changing the whole game. That's one aspect of it. But if you're just saying something complimentary about verses, this past Sunday they had another versus with Patty Labelle and Gladys Knight, right? And it was a good night of good music, man. I mean, this music we've all, well, again, as the elder statesman here, you've probably just heard about this music for the first time, but I was just hearing some music I was listening to back in the 80s and what have you. And here's a case where these artists are alive, right? And we can listen to these people, these ladies, queens who have been making music for like 6 decades, and for them to have that platform, and for people young and old to be sitting there and watching and appreciating their contributions to music, it's a beautiful thing, right? And and so like the day after the verses, it's not really a competition. It was just basically both of them playing the hits and celebrating their music. I spent the next day listening to a bunch of Patty Labelle and Gladys Knight music, which I wouldn't have otherwise. So when I heard Swiss Beats talk about their vision for this was really before they monetized it. They said it's like a music museum, right? We want to give this opportunity for people to take a step back and appreciate some of these artists that we knew from way back when, but we've kind of transitioned on to other stuff. So I think it was a great thing. Did y'all see that versus? What are your thoughts? Dr. T, did you see it?
I didn't, but here's my take. In a way, shouldn't we kind of place some of the burden on, I guess, the producers? I think that plays a heavy role in really who gets publicized a little bit better than others. Mm-hmm. Capitalizing, maximizing on technology, to get you, international versus, on a national platform for some of us. So I think the work of the producer, those guys, they should be somewhat responsible for, broadcasting these artists. And I think maybe that's probably a huge difference in us being able to celebrate Patty Labelle and, folks like that in comparison to even some of our local reggae artists. Maybe that they probably need to do a little bit better of a job with, promoting the local reggae artists. I think that's where we're getting a beating.
Yeah. I agree. Text Music Man, what you say?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and like you said,
did you even know that music?
Stop your now.
I didn't know all the songs. I'm not going to lie.
No, I actually did know all the songs. I'm an R&B
Yeah.
fan, R&B junkie.
The quiet storm music, boy.
Yeah. That's that baby.
That's like falling on to sleep with your girlfriend type of music.
Oh, they don't know about that. Staying on the phone all night.
You sleep? No.
Waking up the next morning,
Sleep.
going to school. Yeah. You hang up. No, you hang up. No, that's
Great.
But no, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I just love Patti LaBelle. I mean, at her age, her energy, and what she brings is awesome. And they find a way to be relevant still beyond music, and that's what I admire about them the most: the business savvy that it takes to when you stop making music to stay relevant. Of course, they still do concerts here and there, but Patti is just an ultimate businesswoman, and I love it. Like you say, give them their roses while they're here. And I did the same thing. I think Brandy and Monica had one before. Man, I didn't realize how much I love Brandy and Monica.
Yeah.
They had
know
some
about Monica.
hits, so you say you don't know about Monica? But I did the same thing after I was listening to all those songs over and over again, and they were it's nostalgic music. It takes you back to a previous time, and you kind of relive that moment. So great job.
Yeah, and that's the thing about music, man. Music can take you to places with vivid memories like nothing else, right? I mean, I did like a recording earlier where I was talking about how when we were growing up, Daddy had this Neil Diamond 8-track. Again, 8 tracks was a long time. I'm old. I'm in my early 60s now. And so every time we would be driving to the beach, from Clarksville, going to Discovery Bay or Runaway Bay or whatever, Daddy would put on this 8-track of Neil Diamond. So every time I hear any Neil Diamond, like Sweet Caroline or any of those songs, the first time I hear a note drop, I just picture the 6 of us pack up into that, that white Chevy Malibu driving, and it takes you there like nothing else. So, big up Swizz Beatz and Timbaland for that vision, man. So, it came out in this COVID era where everybody, kind of bored and needs something to do for some entertainment. And, again, this concept of clashing come out of dancehall, like we all know, but to take it to that platform and to give us opportunity to take a step back and listen to some of this timeless music, it is one of the best things that has come out of this crazy 2020. Special, what is your dream versus? Who do you want to see?
Well, before we get to that, one of the things I want to point out with what a clash like Patti, and Gladys have done. Yeah. And I hope our artists in Jamaica, all of them, are paying attention to what's going on, because when you write timeless music, music that will stand the test of time, you can be involved in something like this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Not like a hustle.
If you write pure foolishness, you're not gonna make it, because you can't do a concert like this. You don't have nothing to sing about.
That's true.
So I hope they're paying attention, and have made a conscious decision to write songs that will last, so you can eat a food later.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point.
Yeah. But
and just before you talk about your dream versus, it's like when I listen to, because I it's probably stereotypical that the Jamaican go to listen to Bob Marley. I listen to Bob Marley at some point of every week. Still, I mean, like all the time. Still, right? And it's like when I listen to, because it's music. So it's like I can't believe this was made in like 1975 and 78, and it's still relevant.
Yeah.
And it's timeless music. It's not something that is for a certain era. So I agree with you, Special. I mean, a lot of this, I guess all people that kind of think that music from when they're growing up is better than music now. Everybody in every era says that. But, I hear some of this music. I mean, it's cool for the moment. You'll dance to it in a club and what have you. But I can't see myself 20 years from now really like listening to that. So I mean, I don't think there's a formula to writing timeless music. you just put your all and your everything into something, and it becomes that. As long as people like take it seriously and not, just trying to hustle, I think, to make a lot of money. I mean, yeah, people like Chronics. I think Chronics music, 20, 30, 40 years from now, will be considered timeless music, right? And certain people, you just see it, they have a different way of thinking about the music.
Not yet. You've gone too far now.
Coffee, yeah. It's a coffee. Nah, man. I like coffee, but it's not timeless yet.
Yeah,
it's not timeless. It's good music. I won't put that in that category yet. Especially your dream verses.
Taurus.
My dream verses.
Hold on. X. We're not there yet.
Well, let me tell you something. I've always been a fan of Terror Fabulous.
Ninja Man and Shabba.
Well, Ninja and Shabba would be a good.
That would be.
Only Shabba one.
You have to go a GP.
Yeah, but I mean, I can easily see a good competition between Terror Fabulous and Mad Cobra. That is what I want.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Fabulous and Cobra. Okay.
Fabulous and Mad Cobra.
90s action.
Gangster DJ.
Yeah. Dr. T, what you say? What's your dream clash? Virtual.
No
friendly clash.
Nobody act like you don't know nobody.
Patra and...
Oh, no. Probably,
latest
no. Maybe Jack Cure and... Yeah. Maybe Busy Signal.
What?
Yes.
No.
I don't know, Rasta. Hey, I have one. I have a classic one. It just comes to my head.
What?
Barry Hammond, Freddie McGregor.
That would be classic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Man, you talk about timeless music.
Yes.
Man. So hey, first of all, we don't need verses. I feel them thing that we can do ours.
We can do our own. I was just about to say.
Exactly. Let's do our own thing. I mean, because they're gonna, hey, that's their vision. They do their own thing. But we can do a similar thing with our artists. I have soca artists, dancehall artists, reggae artists, conscious artists. You know what I mean? So let's work on that.
I'm going to interrupt because people are online and they're making comments and
what am I saying?
Some feedback that we've gotten is that we haven't acknowledged what was going on. So let's see here. Susan Davis said Tessa and Etana.
No, I know about that.
Etana. Tessa and Etana.
Yeah, Tessa and Etana.
They don't have enough timeless music yet.
I like Etana as an artist. I kind of started looking at her differently from the other day. She's talking about immigration and Trump and some nonsense.
Yeah.
As a conscious Rasta, conscious type of person, I'm like, we kind of lose off of you, But anyway, I'll get over that. but yeah, that'll be classic. So we need to come up with our own thing.
So let's do
what them do.
I mean, we have all the music. So
yeah, we have all the music. So we'll set it up. Stay tuned. Announcement coming up. We need a name, a Jamaican name that means versus. I'm a vibe on that. Anyway, all right. Any other last thoughts about Patty them or versus or timeless music?
Well,
Tex, did you say your dream versus, Tex? You didn't.
No.
Tim Ned versus K Rich.
Oh, Tim Ned would kill it. Inside joke. But on the hip hop side, let's do Tupac and Biggie.
One that can actually happen, man. To a live artist. Let's start with that.
A live artist?
Yeah. Jay-Z, Nas. They ain't got enough money for that.
Done.
Yeah.
That's been done. They wouldn't actually.
De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Common.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
I'm with it already.
Let's see.
No, nobody's on Common's level. Greatest MC
ever. No. I want to see Common. No. Black Thought.
Oh. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yeah, that'll be dope.
Man. Boy, you said something there. Yeah. Swiss Beats, Timberland, if you're listening, set that up. Oh, man. Oh. Anyway, see, that's like real hip hop.
That's real hip hop. Yeah, they ain't real.
Not that nonsense. So that man, I don't know what it is.
What about Jay-Z and 50 Cent?
Oh, that ain't that's a bloodbath. 50 is a personality. He's an entertainer. He's not an MC. He's not in Jay's.
Or we could even go back and do Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. Something like that.
Oh, yeah. That would be
real old songs.
LL versus who?
LL. Who would you put him against?
It would have to be like Run DMC or something. It couldn't be.
Oh yeah. LL. Yeah. And they both from Queens. LL's from Queens, right? Yeah.
From Queens. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, LL versus Reverend Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would get some viewers.
Barrington and Barris, which we said, so that'll
no, I said Freddie Barris.
You said Freddie Barris, but that'll be a good one too. Barrington
Barrington and Barris would be. Yeah, Barrington Junior Reed.
Barrington.
That would be better.
Yeah. That's yeah. But yeah, man. So much good music over the years.
Shout out to my good friend Junior Reed.
Junior Reed. Hey, we still need that dub.
I gotta make a phone call for that. That's nothing. What's happening right now?
Yeah, man. Music is a beautiful music just makes life better. Every aspect of life is better with music. You know, when I edit these videos, I put music behind it because it just makes it better. Any moment you can think of, you know, with a wedding or whatever, or, you know, even in bad times, listen to some music kind of brings a different energy. So Breonna Taylor, as we said on the show before, how her tragic murder has not gotten as much attention, I believe, as it should. For the few people who may be watching this who don't know what her story is, basically, she was at home in Louisville, Kentucky, sleeping. Police had a warrant for somebody who did not live in her home and somebody who they had already apprehended. So that memo apparently didn't get to the police, who came to her door with what they call a no-knock warrant, where you just show up and you kick in the door and arrest people, right? So they did that. Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, they're at home. Police kick in the door. Her boyfriend, like, somebody's breaking into the house. So he got his gun and started busting. And police responded and full up the house with shots. Shot this sleeping 26-year-old beautiful queen at least 5 times and killed her. This happened back in March. Long time ago this happened. Way before George Floyd, way before any other thing. It hasn't gotten enough attention, right? So the family filed, a lot of like athletes and whatever, it's like, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. So that is
still a movement that's going on today.
It's still a movement that's still going on, still relevant. So her family also filed a civil lawsuit, a wrongful death lawsuit. And the city of Louisville settled that lawsuit this week by paying $12 million to the family, right? So that's the civil part of it. A lot of people have been kind of getting those two confused. They're like, so you're just going to take $12 million and it goes away. It's 2 separate processes. So they got $12 million for a wrongful death. Now, here's the thing about that. That $12 million, it does not come out of, first of all, the individual cops who killed her. They have nothing to do with us. And not only from an individual standpoint, it does not even come out of the police department. So basically, it comes from the taxpayers of Louisville, right? The people, that $12 million, which would have been going towards other services and resources that the city of Louisville needs, that $12 million comes out of that pot. And so really those taxpayers are paying for their own harassment and abuse, so which is, obviously a bag of nonsense. So let me ask a question. And Doc, I'm going to direct it to you first. Is this hush money? Do you think this $12 million is hush money to make the people say, hey, we got some money, now we can leave this alone, the cops can't go about their business? Do you think this is hush money?
I really do feel I feel that way. Yeah. And the sad reality is, the ultimate question is, where is the lesson learned as far as the cops are concerned? Mm-hmm. Because if there's no burden placed on those guys, there's no repercussions for bad behavior, then the ultimate question is, where's the lesson learned?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, as we know from kids, if you do something wrong and you get away with it, hey, let me try that again. I cut off a thief one little piece of the bun, but if I take the whole bun, right? So, that's something we've said here. Accountability and consequences. Mm-hmm. We all learned that from we were a year old, from months old, that if you don't come with consequences, then we're going to keep on doing it. Texas, what do you say?
Oh Lord, I got a lot to say about that.
Is $12 billion enough?
Let's think about it like this. It happened in March. We're now in September. They've reached a settlement that quick. Nothing happens that quick unless it's to shut you up. Period. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I have some research. There's a comparison I want to share with y'all. Mm-hmm. So there was this lady, Justine Diamond, which was an African American, who was gunned down in Minneapolis, by a black officer who was approaching her squad car. Now her killer, Muhammad Noor,
black officer, white woman,
okay,
black officer. Yeah. Okay, all right. Uh-huh.
So her killer, Muhammad Noor, was promptly arrested, tried, and convicted. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not only that, the family of Justine Diamond was awarded $55 million.
Whoa!
55.
Which state is this in?
Whoa! That
Minneapolis.
I remember the case. I didn't know that discrepancy in.
Okay.
Oh man! All right, keep going.
Let me keep going. Mm-hmm. Now this is Breonna Taylor, African American woman, who was killed by white cops in a botched raid. Now let's take the raid. Okay. Wrong house, number one. The judge signed off of it, number one. Wrong house. The execution of it, they should have figured out it was the wrong house, because the house was wrongfully identified, period. So whoever did the research on it was just completely off base, okay? So, and the thing about it, this woman was, I don't know if she was asleep at that point, but she was woken up out of sleep and then promptly murdered. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to think about it in that aspect. Okay. With that, subsequently, Breonna Taylor's murderers are basically clocking into work every day. Okay.
Yeah.
They're still out there. All right. And then they offer her what? 12. First of all, I don't know what family member, or if it was the boyfriend or what may have you, that was involved in the negotiation of this, but $12 million. Come on now. We have the white lady, 55. It was the mom?
Yeah.
The mother especially? Okay.
Yeah, it was
we
the
have
mom.
one lady on one hand.
Especially just making that up.
Okay.
No,
55.
no.
I believe him.
You didn't see the documentary on Hulu?
We'll accept it for now. All right, go.
One lady, which is white, 55 million, justice served. The next lady, which is black, 12 million, no justice served. We want to go into the points about Black Lives Matter and things like that, and white lives matter. Okay, lives matter, but it seems in this case that some lives are more or worth more than others, of course.
Of course.
Look at this. This is $40 million, difference here. So to answer the question, was it hush money? Of course. Now, whoever negotiated this, booping our head. That's going to be my new segment.
I like it. I like that segment.
Booping our head.
Booping our head.
There's no way.
That could go viral.
Yeah, no way. You should have agreed to that. Of course it was hush money. Special.
Here what me have a problem with, yeah, me have a problem with.
You get that boop in here.
Let me tell you, usually you don't have the civil suit until after the criminal case is complete.
Yeah,
right?
Like with OJ. Yeah,
that's correct.
And
that's correct.
if right off the bat they offering money, that means that they might try lower down the thing, lower down.
Of course,
because
exactly. Yep.
Because this is how from all of the cases that you've seen with the police, this is how them do it. Them try to get you confuse everybody, so you don't know which direction to go in. Because when it comes to blame with the police, whole heap of finger point all about and nobody now get arrested, right? Because right now they're trying to say, oh, they don't really know whose bullet actually hit her, because because there was a lot of cops that were involved in the shooting.
What they say that was the boyfriend?
No, they never said that. But they were saying there were several cops that shot, right? So they're not quite sure whose bullet actually hit her, right?
It don't matter. So, it was one of y'all.
Exactly. So that is what I'm trying to say. Finger point all about. So them do it purposely to throw you off, because you can't focus on actually what is going on, right? And as we said before, if you start parody and no real in-depth investigation not go on yet, no conclusion by the courts have been reached, that means them are trying to shut you up and say, yo, take the money and go on, no?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That. Go on.
Sorry. Well, I mean, like Chris was saying that, a lot of people can't differentiate between the civil and the criminal case, right? I mean, you have a lot of people that's out there, they're marching and doing their whole thing for the whole Black Lives Matter movement. But I think when they present it this way, and there's some supposed millions that supposedly issued, whether or not that's valuable enough, because evidently there's a disparity between the white person that got paid versus the other black person that lost their life, right? When they do it from this angle, what's gonna happen is, okay, the average person who don't really understand how the legal system works will say, well, them get them payments already for this, so that was settled. And quietly that just gets thrown underneath the rug, and we'll just move on to the next one that they kill. And once again, there's still no accountability, because the troublemakers or the problem children have still not been dealt with.
So it's just
go ahead, Chris.
I did not know about that. I remember the case that Tex was talking about with the white lady in Minnesota, and the black officer, and it's why we have to say Black Lives Matter, right? I mean, so when you I've heard this and I've seen this, and that goes all across the board. So I don't know if you remember Elizabeth Smart, a white girl who was missing some years ago, maybe like 15 years ago or so. And there was an all-out manhunt, looking for this beautiful little white girl, right?
Echo search.
Yeah, and at the same time that she was missing, there are these two little black girls in Chicago who were missing. I think they're twins or sisters or what have you, and got absolutely no coverage. I don't think that they were ever found. But when you have on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, local news, everybody talking about Elizabeth Smart, and obviously a missing child, and that has to be like the absolute worst thing for any parent. But there's a discrepancy even there because they're thinking about their viewers and they say a pretty little white girl who is missing, we have to go find her. Versus these two black girls from the south side of Chicago, people kind of think like that. So it doesn't get as much attention. And like with Trayvon Martin, right? After, he was killed not even by police, just by the Salika man, right? Fake police, wannabe police. And it took so much marching and on the news constantly for him to even be arrested. We're not talking about police who have the, protection of being a police officer. Or like Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson. And, it took forever for them to even, well, actually, in his case, the cop never got arrested. So when you see these discrepancies, and so when you think, and so the case with the lady in Minnesota, again, pretty little white lady, who was, I don't remember the circumstances, but she was killed by a black cop. And
she was basically approaching his vehicle to find out what was going on.
And like you said, immediately arrested, right? Immediately arrested, tried, in jail right now, and the $55 million versus here we are from March to September, from in the case of Breonna Taylor, and it's very likely that they will not even be arrested. From what I've heard about people who know Kentucky law, they said it is very unlikely that those cops will be arrested. They can't fire them. Police, they can't fire them. But as far as being arrested, they are, people feel like they were in their right to do what they did. Put the blame on somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's, that's why we have the bar Black Lives Matter, because when we look at these different, similar circumstances and switch around the race of the people involved, it's clear that they value our lives less than other people's lives. That's why we have to keep balling it, Black Lives Matter.
$40 million less.
Man, that's a big difference. I mean, it's different cities or whatever, I don't care. But that's a big
cities
difference.
Don't matter.
Yeah, and so there's a thing called
different cities have a limit on the amount of payout they can have. That is one of the reasons why you see. No, they have it in the budget because they know so something not happening, so they actually have it in their budget as a cap. But if you notice with Breonna, they had to kind of scrounge up the money from all both to get it to where they need it. Well, get it
insurance money and
you see, but in terms of the payout, they have a cap on it in every city.
But to talk about that again, the fact that money does not even come out of the police department.
Yeah,
it's not like they do this and then they are punished, so no, they can't go and get these new cruisers it's not even coming out of their budget. It's the city's budget. That money could be going to a park, after school center or what have you. But no, we have to pay for this abuse, harassment, and murder of your citizens. So you are going to pay us for us to murder your citizens. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean?
It goes back to our points that we've made on the show on countless times. I mean, there's no accountability. So, how do you expect for, things to change if there's no accountability? We talk about defunding the police and things like that, but nothing's happened. I mean, we're still in the same situation that we are. All this protesting, rioting, and things of that nature. Yeah, that's all well and good. But until somebody's held liable, nothing will change. Period.
I agree. And they need to be held personally liable. So something that we've mentioned is a thing called qualified immunity. Right. Which basically makes them immune
to being
from prosecution and being personally liable in these cases, right? They're not 100% immune, but it's a very, very high bar to get them to get a cop goes and murders some citizen, to help them personally responsible, like where they have to pay for their defense. If a civil suit, they have to pay out of their pocket. For them to go to jail, it's a very high bar. So that needs to go. You know what I mean? So when we talk about these, as we march and protest and whatever, a few weeks ago we were talking about this, and we're all just like frustrated and fed up. Like, it doesn't seem like anything is changing. That's because, as we said, it needs to translate to policy. And I don't think policy changes, the same thing's going to keep going on. So qualified immunity is one of those things that needs to go. They need to be held personally responsible. Completely ruin a cop's life and his family and his money and his future because he's broke, because he took somebody's life. Until those things start happening, they're not going to think twice. There are endless amount of cases that we can talk about. Anyway, man, this thing get me so hot. Anyway,
drink up. I'm about to refresh your mind.
You know what? I need to do like text. I need to bring my bar upstairs, and because I just bring one like a glass and a glass done.
Should give the people them a tour. We drink around here. The good doctors on our H2O, but no, we drink around here.
No. Speaking of good doctor, I should send a text to my doctor to bring me a second glass.
We get down over here. We ain't playing no games. Whatever you want, we got.
Anyway, speaking of hot, climate change. How about that transition? Do y'all like how I did that? So you know what? All right. So climate change, to me, it's one of those things that is it's very hard to get people to care about, right? Even though the effects are all around us, but people kind of think that it's something that all the scientists and tree huggers, all of them should care about. Because it's just from a discussion I was having, this past week. It's like, we need, because as important as this is, we need to kind of use this platform to bring it down to a level that average, everyday people can understand and see how it is affecting them, whether they know it or not, right? So for us here in the, in the Gulf Coast, what we know about is hurricanes, right? We get hurricanes and hurricane threats all the time. That's how, people understand that, and how the number of hurricanes may not be much different, but the intensity and strength of them are getting worse. And it has, the impact it has is, catastrophic. So again, those of us here in the Houston area, we remember Hurricane Harvey. Everybody, so much people, that's the worst I've ever seen. So many people's house flood out and what have you. And that's considered what they call every 100-year flood. Right?
Harvey, you said is the worst. Do you remember Alicia?
From a water standpoint, Harvey is by far the worst. I remember Alicia put out her lights for a couple of weeks. I was like, right after we moved here. But it wasn't enough. We didn't have to knock out all the walls out of our house.
I think that's why it was more impactful. We all just moved here at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah. So
send me back to New York in the snow. I'll take that any day.
Yeah. So Harvey, as bad as that was, and as much as it destroyed the city, some people still haven't been back to normal since. That was 3 years ago. They're saying that every 100-year flood could now happen like every 15 years, right? And people don't realize that is because of climate change, with hotter and hotter oceans, which makes stronger and stronger storms, makes the wind worse, it makes the precipitation worse. It results in billions of dollars of damage. That's what we can relate to here in the Gulf Coast. On the West Coast, if you look out there right now, it's like something out of a movie. In California, Oregon, or whatever, the whole millions, like 2 million acres have burned. Yeah, it looks crazy. You know what I mean? So there's a whole bunch of numbers I can throw about and what have you. But the evidence is all around us, but I don't think people really get it, and they do not see how we are on like this is like an existential threat to humanity. You know what I mean? So with that as a background, what do you think that we need to do to make this issue more real to people? So it's not just some abstract concept that's going to happen 100 years from now. It is happening now. We're feeling the effects of it now. People are being displaced now. Where they can't live where they used to live. They can't set up a stall by the beach to sell food and escovitch fish and whatever, because the sea level is rising. So now they have to move back some, and they're not up on the road. It's real. So how do we make this connect with average everyday people like us? Especially, I'll start out with you. PV.
Well, hear that good now. The only way to get people to listen is we get the government to listen right off the bat. And a lot of these. I don't
like that answer.
but here a lot of these people, a lot of the negatives that they have towards climate change. I repeat it because they hear maybe the president or officials in their neighborhood
100%. Yeah.
And they don't really know the ins and outs like the government do, but because the government are the nicest to happen, them start repeat it too. And if we can't get the government to start up on the same page as people who are living in a real world, it will never happen. It's not gonna happen. So we have to get the government to change them tune first.
Right? Because, that ain't never gonna happen. So what's the other option?
What you said, Doc?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not sure if I'm even gonna I'm sure I'll answer the question, but not directly. I think while natural disasters to a certain extent are in fact inevitable, I think most of what we're having, especially in Texas, you see all of this land development, not a good thing. It's good for the developers because you'll make your money.
Yep.
The other thing is fine, you can build on these places. So now we're living in a concrete jungle. And I think the governances, as far as the city group or councils are concerned, I don't think they're putting and stressing enough on drainage. Okay, you have to think about your drainage because when we do get hit, it doesn't matter if it's once every 50 million years. That once every 50 million years can really set a bunch of people back. For several decades. So I think that's a huge part of our problem, the cutting down, and then we're not offsetting with these type of measures. The drainage is horrible. It's horrible. And that's one of the reality. We can't necessarily stop the hurricanes, even if we had the trees. That's natural disaster. But, okay, you cut the trees down. What are you doing in those instances to offset the damage that comes with a natural disaster? And then the unfortunate thing is the homeowner gets stuck with that problem. And it's not right. And the builder now pocket that money and he's gone about his business. It's not fair.
Excellent point.
I'm with the good doctor on this one because that's the point I was going to bring up. Because
good Reverend Doctor.
Good Reverend Doctor.
Deacon.
Is that what it is? All right. So I brought up Alicia, and that was in, let's see.
Alicia. 84, I think.
84, 85?
84, 85, like we're on that.
Okay.
I was like a year old back
All right.
then.
So, which I think was a worse storm than Harvey was.
Shit.
But, no, hold on. The good Reverend Doctor brought up the point about the land development and drainage. And I really think that is the reason for the mass flooding that we are having at this point right now. Because think about it, in Houston, we've had storms year after year after year after year, and it hasn't done the damage that Harvey actually did. And if you look at some of the developed areas that were the hardest hit by Harvey, like for example, Katy, and I can tell you this for a fact, Katy is below sea level, okay? All right, and there's some, what do you call it, especially live out there, there's some dams and levees out there.
Yeah, there's a dam over there. Right
that they actually had to open up and release.
And flood out people on purpose, yeah.
And you have to think about how old Katy. I understand, but they knew this land was under sea level and developed it anyway. You understand what I'm saying? And didn't account for the drainage situation. Okay.
Greed, man.
Of course. So you got to think about how old Katy is. In 84, 85. Was Katy even? I mean, there was old Katy, but
that was a bush out there.
Wasn't even exactly. It wasn't even existent. Matter of fact, if I think about it correctly, you know, from our path all the way down, Highway 6 was a two-way road. It was like a dirt road. Okay. From where I am right now, Fort Bend Tollway wasn't existed all the way up to Katy on pass. It was a dirt road. So development has to do with a lot, and the planning has to do with a lot of it. But the only way we're going to actually bring it to ahead for everyday people to actually realize, okay, this is a threat, is to make it relatable to them. Okay. The news does a great job of diverting this. Okay. So as a people and as an educated people, we have to do our own research and look at things for what they are. Okay. We turn on the news and they're going to program us. They're going to tell us what they want us to know. Okay. We could do our research ourselves and look at the situation and say, hold up, this not adding up. We had a storm this year. We had a storm this year. We had a storm this year. Same amount of rain. Okay. Same number of days. But in this situation is where, you know, we have to open levees and it floods and things like that. The same thing goes for Louisiana. Oh my gosh. I don't know what Louisiana is going through. They need to pray or do something, but every time, you know, you look around, there's a storm hitting Louisiana, you know, and they're not prepared. Now, how many times do we have to go through this for, you know, not being prepared in order, you know, for the government to say, okay, these are the contingency plans we have to actually put in place, you know, in order to keep our people safe. So again, it has to be something that's relatable to us, so we can actually go to the polls and say, hey, okay, what do you stand for? Okay, what are you going to do when you get in office? Okay, because it all goes to the people that we elect in office, you know, because we actually want them to mirror the views that we have. So again, I mean, I could go on, but
yeah, I mean, those are excellent points, and Tex and Doc hit on a couple things that are really central to this argument. What we're talking about is economic benefit, short-term economic benefits versus environmental and long-term greater good concerns, right? So, Doc, you trip out. All right. So basically, when we talk about like development, and that's really, you know, when you follow the way that policies are made or not made or fought against, follow the money, right? So when you talk about development, you know, we want, even though environmental, we know you shouldn't build here, you know, if you get enough money from somebody, some developers or developer association that you want to cut down those trees and build there, then they're going to build there, right? And so there's
something. Let me just add something a little bit to what you're saying.
Hey man, can I finish my point?
No, I'm just going to add something, then you can continue.
Let me talk, man.
Let me just add something. You see, right below the levees there on Highway 6, I don't know how anybody got permission to develop a subdivision down there.
You
That's
know
like
how money.
building building a subdivision right below the reservoir.
Follow
Right?
the
So
money.
right. So
That look. So all of this ties into money, right?
right.
So
That's true.
from a development standpoint, there's that, and also much bigger than development is the fossil fuel industry. Here in Houston, we know that bankrolls the whole city,
Hey,
and
yeah.
and we know.
Don't touch oil.
That's what I'm saying. But,
Don't touch oil. Let me tell you something. You will disappear.
That's what I'm saying. And
I can't even go there.
But it's like we have to touch it, right? Because it is central to the issue. It is, and it's not. A large part of this is because of the burning of fossil fuels, right? Gas, oil. It makes our oceans warmer. It goes up in the atmosphere, makes our ocean. I'm not a climatologist, but I read up enough about this to understand, the burn of it, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and it makes our planet hotter. It makes glaciers melt. It makes our sea levels rise. All that. It's a cyclical thing. And so that is something, of course, oil, it's here to stay, but we need to reduce our dependence on it. And so if you think about the hundreds of billions of dollars tied up into that, those people are going to fight you like hell to keep their short-term gains. And I understand. We're here in Houston. Oil and gas is central to the economy here in Houston. And it's central to the world economy. But we need to balance this thing because it has an impact. So when we talk about other ways, if somebody so as you talk about money, when you have a lot of these alternative energy patents that somebody may come up with, to be able to fuel a car by wind or whatever, something like that. These oil and gas companies with their hundreds of billions of dollars will buy this patent and just sit on it and just bury it.
Shut it down.
I
just said you will disappear.
That's what I'm saying. But what we have, again, with the subject being how we bring it to a level to connect with people. Talk about the person who works offshore on an oil rig or what have you. Yes, those jobs are very important, but we have other ways, to provide jobs for people within that in the energy sector as well. Building wind turbines, building solar panels, and these means of generating energy have less of an impact on our environment. But again, these things are hard. So so for somebody who, let's say, got laid off from a job in the oil sector, now for them they need a job to feed their family. Period. Nothing else matters. I'm not thinking about it in the long term, sea levels and all. I'm trying to pay bills, right? If we can make it connect that also you can you have so it's not just about the environment. There are a lot of economic benefits to being involved in this industry and building wind turbines and solar panels and what have you. So those are the things that we have to make connect with people, right? From a job opportunity standpoint, getting people to understand it there, and also to realize the harm to their lives and their future. When I hear people talk a lot about the kids and we need to leave a good planet for our kids. But most people they can't think that far, right? You're just trying to pay bills right now. So if we need to make it connect with where people live right now, their situation right now, their house getting flooded out right now. Something like 40% of the U.S. population, where their homes are right now, are in low-lying areas where, as the seas continue to rise, it's in another a few decades they're going to be displaced. Like, think about that. Damn near half the population of the country, where they live right now, as we continue on this trajectory with glaciers melting all over, sea levels rising, it's going to have an impact and people are being displaced. You know what I mean? So
right.
we just have to make it connect to people.
The people on Facebook are actually chiming in. So let me read some of these comments.
What I'm saying
right here. So our boy Richard Royal says the government is controlling the here he comes. He's actually jumping on, so I'll let him Sharon Williams is talking about the good doctor. She says she agrees with the good doctor. She says there's no replanting of trees and no mitigation plans, which is true. JoJo, JoJo, she says she was born in 84. She was actually
tell JoJo to vote. Tell her so we're not listening to her until she starts vote.
She was actually 2 in 84. Oh gosh.
Your comments are irrelevant until you start voting, JoJo.
Louisiana needs to get it together, but let in Richard Ross so he can say his piece.
I let him in. You know, mind you, people kind of slow, so it take a while for him to load.
Yeah,
cool.
Can't say that,
yeah, I wanted to talk about this government controlling the weather thing because I'm curious to see.
What is this? This sounds like some Trump conspiracies.
Yeah, I want to hear
it. So Jojo said they do too much voodoo down Louisiana.
They say Louisiana got too much going on.
But I mean, it's Sally are going wicked down there now. You know, see news.
Some people don't like the way Sally walk. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all too young. Y'all were like a year old.
So I mean, let me tell you, first thing me done do, if I was a world boss, me I lock down the Toyota dealership. No more now sell. Right?
Yeah. What are you saying special?
No, me I say is that, you know, my granny used to say, no, them always across the tree and them plant the seed. So them not all of the disaster you see are going on now.
Say that again?
Them always across the tree
and them plant the seed.
Right. I'm gonna use that one.
The granny I know or another one? Or the other granny?
I own the granny that you don't know, man.
Okay.
I wait for them in my youth.
I've got it, man. Yeah.
We should actually write a book because the granny wisdom is untouchable.
Yes, man.
Hey, I have a whole bag of them. Mommy write down a whole bunch of them for me.
Lord, we need to do that.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, the issue is none of them now got take the responsibility, so them have nothing to do with it. Right? Everybody are gonna say, it's gonna happen anyway. You know, I mean, some people are gonna say, that is what God wants. You just get punished for your evilness. But nobody now gonna take responsibility. Say, look,
Louisiana,
if we treat the planet a little better, maybe it wouldn't look so bad.
I've heard people say that basically, with everything going on right now in the United States, with the world, but especially the United States, where we are, with COVID, with the racial strife, with the hurricanes, with the fire, you know, it's basically comeuppance, right? For living a dirty life since the foundation of this country. You know what I mean? That is, you know, it's time. You know what I mean? And still we're going through with Trump. All of it. Right? We just throw all of this on your doorstep and say, stop living them dirty life there. I'm here to reclaim my kingdom. Richie Royal.
My little brother tell me a couple earthquake, almost tsunami happened a couple weeks ago. Right?
Where? Jamaica?
Yeah.
Earthquake. I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, man, and them say because I dirty pastor them down, they won't behave themselves. So pastor them down there go mad, you know.
Yo, no, church, nothing go on.
Yeah. So man, I say, God decided to shake up the pastor, them shake them up a couple times because they don't understand how to run things down there. Right?
What's the
Say
new, what's
nothing
the new
past
segment?
them.
Whooping that head. See?
You have one pastor, I get so much church sister pregnant, and them the kind of thing. I mean, I say, hold on. I want pastor get somebody yard. Maybe they need a bad long time.
That's not new. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
That I go on from Adam them.
They left me out as a teenager, my youth. None of me pastor them never did do them the things there.
Well,
That you know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You know.
We don't know that. You see, what has brought all of this to the surface now is technology. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I can be in Kingston and I can hear about it living in Clarendon. Right? By you just spreading that. So it's just the technology that has now pre-exposed or brought everything.
Yes.
It's always been around.
That's all that's been going on. We just didn't know about it.
When me I grew up, the baddest pastor down there did Pastor Blair, and he have been things on his hip. And everybody in that church misbehave. Right? Anybody tasty with him, you tell him me have my sword right or so. Right? Me don't know the pastor them are going wicked down there, man.
Hey, but what we have to pastors are people. They're just people. They're just like any other, accountant or gym teacher or whatever. They have the same flaws.
Under the blood, my youth. You're supposed to cover under the blood.
They just
to cover them.
They're my man and woman, same way.
Richard, let me hear about this government running the
what conspiracy you have now?
Yeah.
Conspiracy. Me not a conspiracy, So you have to talk about oil rig. I mean, I don't know what you know about oil rig if you ever see one in your life, But
I know how I've worked in the industry for years, I tell you that. Anyway, go on. What's your conspiracy?
Ain't no conspiracy. I've been noticed the weatherman tells enough lie because sometimes you see you check your weather and all of a sudden rain start fall.
True.
How?
It's not lie. It's climate science.
All right. What confirmed it for me, was when you saying about the day.
So hold on. So you said the weatherman lying to us?
Let's go back up.
He gets wrong, man.
Right.
On a line, I guess he gets wrong.
I can't like chill on the science that.
This is what I said. One time you would from Chulani when they are China, right? And they go big race. And one bag of rain did go come. Why China man them do?
What them do?
They rescheduled it.
They rescheduled the rain.
Yo, not idiot.
Don't tell me, All right, talking about oil rig, right? Been up on the oil rig when the hurricane Harvey come to Houston, right? And what I did there, what? I said, okay, the hurricane will go to Corpus Christi down south and then go up. Explain to me now how the hurricane or the rain from the hurricane just park over Houston for 3 days.
Because that's science.
That's life, man.
That's science. Look, I mean, and they always say with these storms, like this is the path it is on right now. That don't mean that's exactly what going to happen. Because they always give those disclaimers that they can move this way or that way. But, you know what I mean? It's not 100% exact. This is going to happen. But, that's why you say, you have a percentage chance of rain. It's 60%. And sometimes it's a 60 and it rains for 3 whole days. Sometimes that's a 5%. I mean, but it's an inexact science, but it's science-based. They're not just guessing and reschedule the rain.
I know exactly what he's talking about too, because that's what I know. That's why I said they rescheduled it, because nothing happened. But anyway.
Nothing happened that day, right? Nothing happened that day. When media things say, yo, I race a car around, Well, something like that, The Chinese man them say, hold on. The youth from Chulani is here. We have to make sure the youth from Chulani.
So the China man they put the rain on pause.
Yeah.
Reggie.
Well,
Whatever, man.
I think the good Reverend Doctor had something to say.
No, I was just saying though, in regards to that forecast, I guess he was probably addressing what was that last one that was supposed to hit us a couple weeks back?
Yeah. A couple
Laura.
weeks ago.
Yes,
Laura.
Laura, right. I mean, it's just there are several variables that determine where the wind blows. So if it's too hot out there, it may speed you up. If it cool down, it slows it down. It's just so many different variables that can cause it to turn. So it's not an exact science, unfortunately. So it's just one of those things.
I believe this is my opinion. I'm not saying a factor. I'm just saying my
right.
opinion.
This here comes.
Scientists have studied so much for so long. They have developed different ways to kind of change the trajectory every now and then. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's definitely an opinion.
If it's China, man, change it. Don't really China.
China never changed nothing, man.
Well, maybe we need the Chinese science man then, right? Because keep them science man strong.
Hey,
I lied, Yakama.
What we need is them to get the handle on this COVID. Anyway,
do we want to talk about the lies they're telling about that?
Hey, sure. What the lies that your government telling? I know them one lie.
I would like to revisit something I heard earlier about the cutting down of trees, planting them back. There is a thing called reforestation.
Right.
It's mainly used in the sawmill industry when they cut down and such, mahogany and such. So there is a method. Everybody just don't use it. You understand? Specifically I remember about 2 years ago, the same came about in Haiti. They were cutting down so many trees in Haiti.
Yeah.
I can't recall what kind of tree exactly, but they were cutting down so many trees and not replanting trees. That started to have an effect on
soil erosion and all that. Yep.
Exactly. So there are ways to do it.
So the problem is not the reforestation or whatever that is called. Is the fact
Doc, where you there? Are you sealing where I say? Where you there?
I'm getting I'm running out of charge, so I'd rather charge up than I really.
Okay, all right, go on.
Yeah, go on.
I'm coming back, but no, I mean I'm not.
We'll Photoshop you in.
Wait until we have a better day. But I was saying that to respond to that gentleman there, the issue is not the concept of replanting, it's just not getting done.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So we keep running into these issues because it's not getting done.
Well, I'm a part of a new industry over the last 2 years. The sawmill industry, like lumber industry now, right? And they have laws in place that I've learned. Laws, like specifically in Louisiana, Georgia, and Alabama, they have laws to replant the trees. Laws to replant all the trees.
Yeah.
And it's like sectioned, and you can only cut down so many in this area and so many in that area. So they are trying to I guess learn more, or they have learned a lot so far, to make sure they are replanting all of these trees. And then you talk about the the oil and gas industry offshore and the effects you have on the oil and gas. The effects from oil and gas on the environment. We talk about when I started in oil and gas to when I finished, there's a vast difference in the amount of paperwork, procedures, and rules and restrictions that are in place. So you can only imagine what it was back in the 90s and 80s when it was really having a negative effect on the environment. So as these industries grow and they find out the negative and positive effects it have on the environment and different areas, then they make, adequate measures to You know, they put things in place to make things better.
But here's the thing: they don't do that by their own
No.
goodwill. They have to be made to do it.
Absolutely.
They have to be forced to do it.
That's why
and
I'm
that's
saying
yeah.
the larger deforestation. You know?
Yeah, and basically that's where a lot of the fight comes in, because that's why they always fight in regulation, right? You know, we say, oh, it costs all this money, but they just keep wanting to do what they've been doing. They want to keep on doing it, and whatever cost and effort, they don't want to involve in that. So if you can't pay off a politician to strike down this regulation, then that's how they get these things done. That's why. That's why we have this fight. It follow the money. In damn near every conflict, follow the money. That you'll find your answer there.
Yeah.
And that's why they have fines. So if I violate, guess what? You just fine me.
Yeah. I'm not making $100 billion. You know what I mean?
You just fine me.
Even with
the paperwork, the paperwork is there, the regulations are there, but trust me, they're still violating, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, and you get fined, and your accountant just finds a way to just write it off as some tax.
Yeah, that's like finding me 5 cents.
Become a predator.
You
So
know?
on Facebook,
Facebook. What am I saying?
The family K Rich says that men are creating clouds. So wow.
Okay. Why you always coming down fucker there? Oh, sorry. Oh, we can't. Sorry. We'll bleep it out on the rebroadcast. K-Rich, stop your nonsense.
No, anyway. He said he's gonna find it. He's gonna find it. I'm gonna have him jump on.
I don't think it's nonsense. No.
What them say? What them say?
They do create.
He said he's gonna find it. As soon as he find it, we're gonna jump on.
That's
a Chinese.
Anybody
making clouds.
Okay. The purpose of this is to give everybody a voice. So if you have something to say, okay, hey, we will let you in so you can plead your case. I want to hear, just like Shane said, and I was like, hey, jump on. I want you to say what you have to say. Hey, K Rich, if you I know you watching, find out what you have to say, jump on. I want to hear it. Most people want to hear it. It's good news. Let's go.
Doc agree with them. Go on, Doc. What are you saying?
No. I mean, that's old news, though, guys.
What?
Back when we weren't having enough rainfalls, they do make rain clouds. That's old. It's still new.
Oh, you talking about they used to do it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? Oh, they used to.
So yeah, I mean, if it's referencing rain clouds, yes, that's.
Yeah, I remember that there was something up. Let's send some planes up in the air and do something. I remember.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah. So, but as far as just making the cloud, anyway.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. My hands are off that one.
Anytime I say man, I make I'm gonna control the weather. So say me a madman then, Chris.
No, I mean you're a madman from morning. You know that.
He said that.
Okay. They are making it rain.
All right. Okay. So let's say man does not control the weather. Let's not say that. Can man do some things to impact aspects of the weather? Sure. The climate change in general, a lot of that is man's activity. So we can do some things. We don't control the weather.
Right. So with that, Sharon Williams says, how can we get the buy-in from the masses to do their part to reforestation? So how can we do that?
Everybody has to volunteer every Saturday and plant one tree.
Yeah. So that's the genesis for this segment came from, you know what, we just need to, a lot of it begins with information, right? We don't have all the answers here. None of us are scientists or climatologists here. We're just people running around paying bills, doing our work. But with information we do have, we can put that information out there and educate people about it based on what we know, to give them, to make it connect with them so that they can do their independent individual research. Think about the things that they can do, from recycling to planting a couple trees in your backyard, those sorts of things. So I think as individuals, it just needs to make it real to us, right? And then start from there. We don't know the full solution. We know it's going to take more than just individuals doing things. It should happen on a big business level, on a big government level. That's going to have to happen. Put in some new standards for automobiles and all that. These things have to happen. But I think the more educated we are as individuals on it, then we can look into things that we can do, right? And just start recycling your own house, right? It's a throw your Heineken bottle with your chicken bone in the same bag and it just go in the same place. You know what I mean? As an example.
Don't drink no more coconut water. How about that?
Oh, come on now. Yeah, man.
Hey,
He knows what he's doing, huh?
Coconut water?
Sure.
Hey.
All day, every day.
Hey.
You know how important coconut water
Hey,
is?
I'm trying to educate the people.
Hey.
Coconut water is awesome.
You got that
Man.
Lobito coconut water.
Man.
Them people that we drink most of the coconut water, them a cost most of the coconut tree them for dead off,
You know what I mean?
Them drink too much coconut water.
It's like I was used to drinking coconut water out of the can so much in the past few years. So I was in Jamaica the other day and actually drank the coconut out of the coconut. It's like a whole different thing. I forgot just how good that tastes. Just straight out of the coconut.
Yeah.
I've heard
man.
a controversy now. I've heard a controversy with the coconut water. It's them people that we are drinking with the straw. Them are further kill the planet.
But I'm not the plastic straw. Fire upon them.
No problem.
So, if you're gonna drink your coconut water, load the straw, man.
Yeah,
Load the straw.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, hey, we don't have time to the Star Australia album review,
Yeah, next week.
Next week. Hey,
Great album. Great.
It's a great album.
Excellent,
Light the challenge.
album.
Richie Royal, okay, you light the challenge.
Chesedek.
Hey, light the challenge, Richie Royal.
Yeah, I sing. Me not like. You want to like?
That's the point of the challenge.
Huh?
Light the challenge.
How much lighter?
No.
Yeah, we'll discuss it in detail next week. It's a very good album. It's not an all-time classic. It's not Bojo, but it's a very good album. But hold on. All right, yes. Yeah, too late to really go into right now. But it's a pretty good album.
Stay tuned. We'll debate this next week.
Oh no. Hey, listen to me.
It's a good album.
It's a good thing, but I'll recommend an album for you for future reference as well. Chesedek.
Oh, remember new album?
Chesedek. Trust me.
Okay.
Man.
I like Chesedek. So anyway, that we had was to review Taurus Riley album tonight, but especially on text and doc chat too much. So
What do you mean?
I'm running out of time. So next week, just recently, we're going to review Taurus Riley's new album, Healing. It is a very good album. Check it out for yourself so you can join in our conversation next week if you have not. It's a good album. And I'll even sing some of it for you. I know that's why everybody tuned in tonight.
We're good.
To hear me sing. Anyway, last thoughts. I like a one sentence to left the people with. I want to we're gone way over time tonight. Doc, thank you for joining us tonight.
Sir.
How we normally
Thank you so
end
much
this.
for having me.
So you have to give a one sentence word of wisdom or something. You can promote something. You can say a prayer, whatever you want to do. Just give us some thoughts to vibe on.
Word of wisdom: if you can't help, don't hurt. Okay.
Amen.
Hey,
Nice and sweet and simple.
Yeah.
Richie Royal. Say something.
Research information for yourself.
All right. Dr. Special, live from Dubai.
Boy, I tell you, that boy Donald Trump I really need prayer. Go vote. Go out and vote.
Please don't get me started. Please.
Thanks.
Man, it's so much going on, but I just got to, reiterate what especially sentiment, man. Just vote. Just vote. Do the research for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't feed into politics. I come into a lot of people, and when I hear them talk, I can tell whether they listen to Fox News or CNN right off the bat. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to even debate with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The truth is somewhere in the middle. So do your research, make an educated decision for yourself, and go to the polls.
Man, you're right. It's that I run past those conversations with strangers, right? Like a Facebook post I made today. Today I was out and I have on my mask, right? As we should. And this man come up to me with his mask on, talking about, oh man, I think these masks are just political. I was like, oh, okay. All right, yeah, go on, back up.
Should I
keep that opinion over there. But man. Yeah, so Firebun Trump, I'm not gonna talk about him. So basically, music makes life better. Enjoy some good music. Life can be stressful if you let it be. It's in 2020, bag of things going on. Take a moment. If you normally watch the news or whatever, turn it off. You normally have to watch it, turn it off. Listen to some good music that put you in your happy place. Whether it's reggae, jazz, R&B, whatever. And it changed your whole mindset. So music make this world a better place. So next week we're going to review a very good vibes album. That's when I listen to Tarrus Riley in general, it's just good vibes. It's just happy music, right? So we'll review that in detail next week, and we'll talk about why he will not get the Grammy because Buju Banton will. Anyway.
They won't give it to Buju. They won't give it to Buju.
Yeah, all right, we'll see. All right, we can't take that argument the next time.
Let's talk about sales.
People.
That's a good topic.
Sales of what?
Research the sales of Buju's album, and then let's talk next week.
Yeah, that don't matter. That doesn't matter.
Sales doesn't matter?
For in terms of what?
Income.
Sales don't matter.
No.
As far as popularity and awards.
No. In terms of reggae music, no, not really.
Okay. In terms of reggae music,
yeah. I mean, because reggae, we're going into a whole different subject now. But it's not really an album sort of industry. That never has been, right?
Just get ready to give me my bottle back. Get ready to give me my bottle back. That's all I'm gonna say.
You didn't really give him text, but you're not easy.
No. So that bottle was Tex said Buju was not going to win the
festival.
The festival.
Right,
so that's one bottle. Bottle of white Hennessy, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. The next bottle coming my way is because I said Buju Banton will win the Grammy. This year's reggae Grammy. So I have one buckle for that. So Tex will run another buckle very soon.
Run it back.
Anyway,
who's he going up against? Because I haven't checked.
We'll see. I don't think nominations come in yet. I mean, Chronic's album soon come. That I'm sure that's going to be fire. So it's going to be between Buju and Chronic. I'm not even hear Chronic's album yet, but it's going to be fire.
Tarrus will be in that race.
Tarrus will get a nomination. And Tarrus not going to win. Nah. Buju have that. Anyway, we're at the 0-1 sentence speech and everything. But everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Them people chat too much. That's why we've gone 30 minutes longer. But it was great discussions about some important topics. So I thank everyone for joining. www.justreasoning.com is where you will find this and all of our past episodes. If you like it, share it, tell somebody, pass it around, and let's get this out to a bigger and bigger audience where we talk about issues of relevance to our people, our Caribbean people, Black people, music, sports, entertainment, news, politics, race, dirty police, whatever. That's what we talk about. Or the good police too. So everyone, thank you for joining us. And until next time, next week, same time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for Just Reasoning. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/MySoulRebel, or search for the Just Reasoning group. And let's keep these conversations going and amplify the voice of our community. All right, people? Bless up. One love. Until next time. Peace.
Bye.